GalaxyCon, one of the top companies for Comic-Cons in the nation, in the universe, in the world, is hosting Nightmare Weekend from October 18th through the 20th at the Miami Airport Convention Center. This isn't their first rodeo. This group, GalaxyCon, does an awesome job, and this event will be amazing as well. The Halloween season, with so many spooky events, contests, panels, merch, and celebrity guests, including this man, this actor, from one of my favorite all-time TV shows and one of the iconic scary movies, and more. This greatest American hero who co-starred with an all-star cast in Carrie is Mr. William Katt. Thank you, sir. I'm wondering, growing up, were you into Halloween? Did you do the trick-or-treating? Did you have a favorite costume?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah, trick-or-treating all over my neighborhood. I lived in the San Fernando Valley back when the San Fernando Valley was all dairy farms and orange groves. So it was wildly fun when I was a kid.
So was it a lot of fruit? Was it a lot of fruit for Halloween or candy then?
Oh, lots of candy. Oh, and kids treat candy like a currency. I mean, they trade for it, and they give me a couple of your Milky Ways and Butterfingers. It's great. There was like so many candy bars, and that's back when it was good, and they had a lot of sugar and stuff to make you really crazy.
Hey, did you have a favorite costume? Do you recall dressing up back then?
What I can remember, I think the only thing that comes to mind, I think I dressed up once as in kind of a green outfit. It might have been like an homage to the one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater, but I did it in green. Remember that song?
No, I don't. I don't.
Flying purple people eater, one-eyed, one-horn. You don't remember that song?
I don't.
You're probably too young.
No, I don't know that. I'm almost 60, Mr. Katt, so I should remember that then, but I don't.
Goodness.
But what I think is cool is you put your own spin on it. See, you're always thinking, even back as a kid.
Well, yeah. Don't test me on that. I am not always thinking.
Oh, no. Hey, this is going to be such a cool event that you're going to be coming down to meet fans. That's awesome. Tell us about coming to Miami for this event. Have you been down to South Florida at all?
Many, many times. I have very, very good friends of mine in South Florida. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, what's going on? Are you guys going to be impacted by this new hurricane coming in?
Well, I'm in the South Florida, so I'm in more of the East Coast, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, that way. So we're gonna get rain and wind, and they say be careful flooding. But really, the West Coast side, up near Tampa, and then cutting across to Orlando, that's where it's supposed to get hit really hard. But I mean, they're telling everybody in Florida though, hey, prepare, be safe. So even down here, we've been getting the water, doing all that. Last night I was doing all that stuff and all. So yeah, it's going to be. Hopefully everybody's okay. But geez, we just had one that hit North Florida, up near Tallahassee, and went through.
I'm gonna bring my cape and outfit just in case anybody needs help. Okay?
Yes, the greatest American hero revival. Do you do a lot of these events like Comic-Cons and this one?
I've done 3 or 4 a year for a couple of years, and I really enjoy it. What I love most is just visiting with the fans who are always so lovely. Especially at the horror cons. They are just lovely fans.
Are you a fan of spooky, scary movies, thrillers, things like that?
I love ghost stories. I'm not I kind of stay away from the slasher films, but I do like a good ghost story. Fans of Stephen King and Robert McCammon, who's a great horror writer. Yeah, I love those kinds of things.
Hey, mentioning Stephen King, and again, William, you tell me if I have this right. I read this. I want to make sure I get it correct. But Carrie, which is iconic, that was Stephen King's first novel turned into a movie?
I believe so.
What was...
And I think the story goes with him that he had thrown the manuscript away, and his wife dug it out of the trash can and said, "No, you got to work on this."
Oh, my God. Oh.
Yeah.
And then when they decided to make this a movie, and, I mean, this cast, amazing. Amy Irvin, John Travolta, Piper Laurie. It's just Brian De Palma directed.
I know it was a great cast, and we all had great careers as a result of that film. It was a seminal film for Brian De Palma, and everybody knows that.
That, to me, is the thing. Everyone's gone on to do bigger and better. It's just to me, and that was big in itself. What was it like being a part of it? What was it like when the movie came out and you get the reviews and just things, and just then the career really taken off, I guess, for you? My
life turned around. I mean, before that, I was kind of, bouncing from one theater job to another. Not a lot of money in the theater, but that's what I did. I've done theater every year for most of my career, interstitially between work in film and television. I love doing theater. But when we did that film, it really changed my life. I mean, in a matter of weeks after that film came out, I was in a different, I was thought of differently,
How did you get and land that role? And do you remember if who others were up for that role that you got? Because you were telling me you were the football player, the star football player in high school. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I mean, that was the 70s, and it was the time of the big hair. And so I had the big hair, the Peter Frampton hair, but I was still considered the high school athlete. Yeah, it was a big deal for me because I really was not a big jock when I was in high school. And we were all in our early 20s at the time when we did that.
Did you ever want to be a sweat hog?
That would have been fun.
Yes.
John was so great. John was so great in that. And what a sweetheart of a man he was.
Oh, we hear so many nice things about him. Oh my gosh, just very down to earth guy and all. But it's just amazing how things connect. And when you think back on it, and you could watch Carrie today, and it's still got that. It's got that Stephen King stamp on it. So it still runs its course today. What do you think of just the longevity and being a part of something like that?
Well, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I've really only been a part of 3 or 4 different films or television shows that have had really long, sustaining legs, and that certainly that was one of them, the first one, and just made an indelible mark on my career.
When you're at these events, like Nightmare Weekend, October 18th to the 20th, the Miami Airport Convention Center, you're fans, because I know Carrie, Greatest American Hero, but you, like you said, acting, Broadway, you've done Broadway. You've also the Perry Mason, the second incarnation of it on TV. You were part of that, and so many other things. What are fans?
House was received very, very well in the mid '80s.
Yeah, House was amazing too. I forgot about that one. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. When you get to talk to fans, are they bringing all different things up? Are you getting more Carrie? Are you getting more of Greatest American Hero? Other things, or it's just all different things?
Oh, I get lots of different things from the fans, and then I like to hear their stories and how it's impacted them and what kind of things that they're into. The kind of things that they like and the components of a horror story that they're enjoying. What drives them? That's what's fun for me. And I think that all the celebrities, they come down there and to visit with the fans is, we go away with as much as hopefully we leave with the fans, and we share in those stories and leave with as much as the fans do.
Did you meet Stephen King?
Oh, no, I didn't, unfortunately.
Oh. And now I want to switch a little bit to TV, and thank you so much for your time. The Greatest American Hero. Talk about cast, we talked about Carrie. Now, I mean, Robert Culp, Connie Selica, Michael Perry. It's just amazing. Then you have just Mike Post and Joey Scarberry with that awesome theme song, and just the creator of the Greatest American Hero. And
Steve Cannell, yes, of course.
Oh my God, Cannell and Bochco were like running TV for I don't know how many years with their hits. And I just curious now, how did you land this one? You're the Greatest American Hero, always and forever.
I was off Broadway at the Phoenix Rep, the last season of the Phoenix Rep. I was starring with Diana Wiest, who we know from Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, wow.
Right? So her and I were playing brother and sister, and we were off Broadway, and with a group of folks from the Guthrie Theater. They had brought the play out, and her and I went in New York, and I got the script from my agent of Greatest American Hero, and I was reluctant to do it because I was very happy in New York doing theater. But when I read the script, it was laugh out loud. And my agent said, well, Steve wants to come out and meet with you. So Steve flew out and met with me. We went to the Russian tea room, and I found him to be one of the greatest people that I had ever met. So charming and gracious, and convincing. So I agreed to do it. So I finished on a Sunday after the early performance on a Sunday night. Flew back to Los Angeles on that flight, a late night flight, and got my hair dyed back to blonde, which it is normally. But I was playing a French Canadian. My hair was brown at the time. So I dyed it back blonde, and we went on from there. The funny thing is, Steve would never talk to me about the outfit that I had to wear. He said, "Oh no, Bill, don't worry about that. We'll get to that." And the first time I saw it, I just thought I would die because it was so hideous. You know, as I like to say, it sagged in all the wrong places.
I mean, come on. You look right. You got a great point. Because you think about it. Look at Batman. Look at Aquaman. Look at Superman. And then what they're wearing.
They had great outfits. Not me.
Oh, but what a persona, what a character, what a role. That series, and that's on. We get to watch it today. It's great. When you're coming from Broadway, you're coming from that actor theatrical world. What are your thoughts of when you have to do TV? Because it's a whole different ball game, yes?
Well, yeah, there are different sensibilities, but actors would tell you that. You know, it's a little bit bigger, I suppose, on the stage. And in television and film, it's pretty much all in the face and the eyes. And you just get on there and, you know, I was pretty much just myself doing that, The Greatest American Hero. And it was a ball because you go to work and you just laugh all day. And who doesn't want to go to work and laugh all day, you know?
You seemed like a natural fit. I'm so glad to hear that, because you really do seem like a natural fit when you watch that, when watching that show. And obviously from that show birthed that awesome theme song. And I'm just curious, what are your thoughts of, I mean, did you like the theme song? I mean, maybe you did, maybe you did, I don't know. But did you like the theme song? And then what are your thoughts of just how it rose on the charts? It got on the charts.
I know, it was pretty amazing. I don't know which was more popular, the theme song or the TV show.
Isn't that amazing? When you say that, though, that's so true, though.
You know, and it's odd. I mean, there it was on Seinfeld, on George's answering machine.
Oh.
And there it was later on. Seth MacFarlane did homage to it on his show, Family Guy. It's just amazing the longevity of the success of that show.
Oh my gosh. And Mr. William Katt, I have to ask you this. Do you still own one of the suits?
Oh gosh, I sure wish I did. I sure wish I did.
Oh.
But you have to know, back in when we ended the show, there was no horror cons or Comic Cons or Star Trek cons. There was none of that then.
No, there was not. So who would think? I mean, a lot of those things just went, who knows where, to a warehouse or or whatever it went to. So maybe the creator got some of the stuff, or maybe they just threw it out. You just don't know with some of these things over the years, the hidden treasures.
The Cannell family has one. I know my stuntman that I still am very good friends with, Dennis Matalone, Danger Matalone. He has an outfit that he wore that's all beat up and torn up. He wears it as a badge. And I think there's one in there's a museum of superheroes in Indiana that I went to once, and I saw it there. It was on a mannequin.
Oh, that's so great. That is so awesome. I'm going to have to check that out, too, and look that up. And you mentioned your stuntman. That's something, because that guy had to take a lot of bumps. I mean, there were a lot of... I know he knows how to do his job, but there were a lot of physical activity in that series, too.
Yeah, no one could hit the ground harder than Dennis Matalone, that's for sure.
hit the ground running after a little bit. All right, so we'll wrap this up, and thank you so much for taking the time. I read this
I'm really looking forward to coming down and seeing everybody.
Oh, my gosh, and we're looking forward to seeing you. There's going to be so many other guests that will be there and so many things to do. It's going to be a lot of fun, everybody dressing up, so that's cool, too. I read that this I thought was fascinating, too. So much you've done and so many things I could ask, but I have to go to this one because it was such an iconic movie. I'm sure everybody asked you this. Star Wars, you were almost Luke Skywalker. Just how amazing, I know you didn't get the part, but how amazing was it? I mean, just seeing what happened with that whole Star Wars franchise.
That whole franchise was amazing, and you got to know it. At the time, we didn't know that it was going to be like that. I mean, nobody really had an idea that George Lucas was capable of something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Boy, he proved everybody wrong.
It just, I mean, did you ever think, though, even in other Star Wars movies, hey, I'm going to try for this, try for that, or that never came about because they did other things in TV and and all that?
Yeah, the opportunity just never came up again, and my God, Mark Hamill did such a beautiful job with it. You can't even think of that character and without thinking about Mark Hamill. He was just so iconic in that role.
It was amazing, and I'm going to say I'm sure you would have done an incredible job as well. You have outstanding acting chops, and just look at the diversity of things that you've done in your career and all. But it's just so amazing. Now I'll end it with this, Mr. William Katt. Oh my gosh! So during Nightmare Weekend, October 18th and 20th at the Miami Airport Convention Center, they have something called, and it's Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling, where actually local pro wrestlers dress up. In this instance, they will be in horror character. They will be in movies, and they will try to emulate that character, Freddy Krueger per se, and then do some of the things Freddy Krueger. Well, not to that degree, but do emulate Freddy Krueger while wrestling. Could there be a chance the greatest American hero may show up, even not to wrestle, but just show up for one of these FSCW nights at the Nightmare Weekend?
Well, I don't see why I wouldn't. It sounds like a really fun time.
Oh my gosh! Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time. And do you have any social media or anything you want to give out to fans?
No, not. I don't do social media.
Okay.
But I would like to mention I have a film coming out that I did with Alfred Molina called When We Get There. It was Alfred Molina, Mindy Sterling, who we know from the Mike Myers films, and me. And it's a great, heartwarming, beautiful little film.
That's amazing. Another thing, you've got so many things you're doing, so much on your plate too, which is awesome. And you're going to be coming down to Miami. So thank you so much for taking the time. This was a real honor and a treat for me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a good time too. Looking forward to seeing the fans.